Hello, this is Johnny Good. Today, many people are asking the question, am I addicted to sugar? Is that why it's so hard to stay on a diet? What else could possibly explain why it's so hard to give up sugar? How else could we explain the strange withdrawal symptoms that we experience when we do manage to stop eating sugar even for a few days? Now, recent research at Princeton University and elsewhere has proven that there is a connection between sugar and true physical addiction. They found that sugar and white flour and fat can become addictive in the same way as heroin and opium. Uncontrollable urges to eat sugar, white flour, and fat can be unhealthy, and you already know this, because you know that it can lead to heart disease, diabetes, and possibly some kinds of cancer. But the biggest threat to our health is the obesity epidemic, and the World Health Organization believes that sugar is one of the leading causes of this dangerous worldwide health threat. Sugar has so many empty calories that many people automatically begin to lose weight when they kick their sugar habit without making any other change to their diet. So, what is it like to be addicted to something? If you know someone who smokes, you already know what it's like. People first start smoking because it feels good, or because everyone else in their crowd is smoking and they don't want to be different. But once you're addicted, if you go without a cigarette for any length of time, you feel lousy. You feel nervous and impatient. And then, once you do give up smoking, thoughts that the AA folks call stinking thinking might pop into your head and actually convince you that smoking just one cigarette, just this one time, oh, it's probably not such a bad idea, it won't hurt anything. And then, of course, you're right back where you started from. Is this you? Just a picture of chocolate creates an urge to eat something sweet? You find yourself in front of the candy machine putting in your quarters even though you promised that you'd start eating better? You search through the cupboards to find that last cookie that you hid from yourself, and you do it even though you know that you're going to kick yourself in the morning? You find ice cream and chips in your grocery cart even though you promised that you wouldn't buy any, and maybe even though you know you can't afford it. You start one diet after another, and every single time you regain all the weight you lost. And sometimes you even become so obsessed with a particular food that you almost can't think about anything else until you've gone to the store to buy some. This means that you have a thought or a craving, and you immediately act on it without making that conscious decision about whether you really want to or not. Your craving is in control. But in other areas of your life, you're completely successful. That's what makes it so strange. You know that in those other areas of your life, if you have a desire for something that isn't good for you, you just ignore the thought. Like this guy, who daydreams about a pretty girl that he met even though he's happily married to someone else. We have a thought or a desire, and then it simply goes away because we don't act on it. We're conscious and in control in almost every other area of our life. So we all have the skill that's needed to break the sugar habit, but we need to know how to put that skill into use. When we become conscious of the stinking thinking that's created in our minds by our addiction, these thoughts actually will lose their power. You can think of chocolate, and then you notice the thought, and then you choose to think of something else. Suddenly you're in control. So, how do you take control of your stinking thinking so that you can choose to eat the healthy food that you know is good for you? I explain it all in my book called Weight Loss: How to Keep Your Commitment. It's not a very exciting title, I know, but when I first wrote it, I knew that the biggest hurdle that keeps us from losing weight is our cravings for unhealthy, fattening food. My book explains why so many of us are addicted to sugar and fat, and how unconscious thoughts can make us eat things that we really don't want to eat. You learn an easy meditation technique that lets you take control of those thoughts so that you can take control of your cravings. The meditation technique that I teach is extremely easy to learn, and you can practice it at any time, even when driving to work. As As a matter of fact, this particular meditation technique works to help you take control of any thought, not just your food cravings. I actually used it after a divorce when I realized that the negative thoughts that kept popping into my mind were actually causing my depression rather than the other way around. Once I used this easy meditation skill to stop those negative memories and thoughts, and I chose to think about something else, my depression lifted. I also used it again to help me get through a frightening cancer diagnosis. And, of course, this simple technique allowed me to finally lose over 35 pounds and keep it off after fighting my excess fat for most of my life. So I know that you really can control what you think about, even if an addiction tries to plant the wrong thoughts in your mind. When you take control of your thoughts, your cravings lose control of you. The steps in my book are easy to follow. The program uses no drugs, and you don't have to go to any meetings. There aren't any ongoing membership fees. You simply download the book to your computer, read the simple step-by-step instructions, and then start taking control of your thoughts. My program has already helped hundreds of people take control of their cravings for sugar and fat. So, why wait? Take control of your sugar addiction today. The book is only $22.95. It's just the price of a few quarts of ice cream and a week's worth of candy bars. Download it today, and you can start taking control of your health. Thank you so much for visiting howtothinkthin.com.